you ever sat down and thought to yourself, you know what would make an awesome game? A game about buses. But not just buses. Buses that can jump and do combat. Well, if that little idea has ever entered your mind, then it has now. So, to fill that need, I'm going to review a game. Today's game review is on a game called WildBus. And it's coming up next on Mumbles. Why does she get into a color? Oh! Hi everyone, Mumbles here. Today I bring you some hot bus combat action. I know it's a little hard maybe to fathom hot bus combat action, but this video is going to fulfill that need if you've ever kind of even had it. But before we get into that, I do have to ask, guys, please use your bus, ram it into that subscribe button so that we can continue to grow. And thank you guys all so much for doing that. You guys were awesome. Now, onto the hot bus on bus combat action. Guys, I'm going to start by reading you the short, brief description of this game. Ever think about beating mutant monster with fully customizable fighting bus? It's time to rev up your engine. The WildBus is a classic beat-em-up game in a retro style with tons of weapons ranging from giant punch glove, mega drill, megaphone cannon, or even dragons. So that is the description. This game is available on Nintendo Switch and Steam at the time of this review. So please do be aware of that. Now, as wacky as this game sounds, I am reviewing it. So let's jump into the gameplay section. Gameplay-wise, this is a wacky game about combat buses. Gameplay-wise, this game plays very much like a classic beat-em-up game. If your classic beat-em-up involved a bus, that is. Literally in this game, they swapped out your favorite beat-em-up character for a bus. For this bus, you do all the standard things as other normal beat-em-up games. Jumping, using different weapons, having various attacks. You can do all of that while beating up enemies. Speaking of the weapons that you have, there is a bit of an RPG element to this game as you get to choose which weapons and equipment you want to have on your bus. And you can also use these equipments and weapons to upgrade your bus. You can have crazy things, such as a toilet that shoots out golden turds, or melee weapons that include a boxing glove that is mounted on the front of your bus. You can have all of this and more in WildBus. It's interesting and wacky, and it does also have interesting and wacky NPC players. And it does come in an interesting setting. Playing this game, you literally go from town to town, beating up enemies, and trying to navigate the crazy layout of the map. At times, there will be water that you have to jump over and make a precise jump in order to do so. There's all kinds of different obstacles that will be put in your way. So as much as it is a beat 'em up, it is also partly platformer, bus platformer, if you can believe that. And that's pretty much the gameplay. Now we come to the cons of this game. The first con for this game is that this game is very standardized. And what do I mean by that? I basically mean that this game, it doesn't really do anything, even though it is bus combat, to set itself apart from other games out there. There's other beat 'em up games that kind of do the same exact thing. The second con is the difficulty. The controls, especially in this game, are kind of hard to deal with when you first start out. There is a bit of a learning curve, but even after you learn it, you can see just the way your bus moves at times is a little bit wonky. And the third and final con is that this game is very repetitive. Literally, as I was stating in the gameplay section, you start off in a town, you beat up some enemies on the way to the next town, you rinse, you repeat. You go out, you beat up some enemies, you get to the next town, you rinse and repeat, and so on and so forth. And that's pretty much the game, guys. There's not really a lot of other elements built into this game, unfortunately. So with all that in mind, now let's talk about my score for this game. And guys, I gotta be honest, I thought long and hard on this one because I love the idea of a wacky bus kind of game where you're having to beat things up and doing all that stuff. It sounds great on paper. It sounds even great when you first start up the game, when you have to pick your weapons and stuff like that. It sounds great, but the problem is the repetitiveness. This game is so repetitive. They didn't really do anything to set itself apart from town to town. It's built in a great location. It's built with great characters, but they missed the point of the gameplay, which is to make fun gameplay. It's very repetitive, and I can only give it a 5 out of 10 on today's Mumbles review. Guys, if you are interested in this game, I definitely recommend that you do check it out. And as always, guys, please smack that subscribe button, smack the like button, smack all those buttons, but don't slap your face because you don't want to leave a red mark. Anyways, guys, this is going to be Mumble signing off. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.